Well, hello, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, September the 21st, 2023. Thursday, September the 5th, 21st. Well, let's see what's happening in Genoa City land. Goodness, camera, get right. Yeah, there we go. Well, look, Nikki Newman is all over the place, okay? She is like a vulture saying, hey, I know Audra stays at that GCAC. So I'm going to make sure I'm over there a lot, right? Because society is usually the dining place, mainly, right? Well, who does she see? Audra lean, up onto the table. Kyle's talking to her, talking about, goodness, what I want to do right now. I this, I that. And she goes, Kyle, we're supposed to be, you know, low key, but I still blah blah. And she's like, oh, she's loving it. She wasn't giggling, but she was all into it. You know that look you give, like, yeah, okay, we can ready to go upstairs right now, right? Nikki's just watching. So she goes, well, well, what do we have here? You two again. And Andra leans back. You two again. And she says, hello, Mrs. Newman. She says, what are you two doing together? Oh, Kyle. And she looks, Kyle was just talking to me about, we've been researching some proposals and we're kind of want to, get them ready so we could present them to you. We were discussing that. And she goes, oh, really? What proposals, Kyle? And Audrey says, we're not quite ready. We're not quite finished with all the research. But oh my, as soon as we are, Mrs. Newman, you're going to be impressed. So she looks at Kyle and she says, Kyle, I need to speak to Audra alone. No, privately. And she just looks at him and he goes, oh. So he gets up. Oh, okay. And she sits down. She says, you know what? I guess my warnings meant nothing to you. Whatever could you mean, Mrs. Newman? Whatever could you mean, Mrs. Newman? And she goes, I told you to stay away from Kyle and to end the affair. But I did. She goes, cut the crap, Audrey. No, you didn't. You two have decided you're going to sneak around behind everybody's backs. And Audrey looked at her like, how on earth could you know? But she didn't do a shock look, but it was Audrey like, Audra's always stone faced and composed. Nikki says, I see right through that. How could you see anything? She goes, it's all in the way he looks at you. Every time you two are around each other. And it's the way you respond. That's how I know. So, I said I'm going to fire both of you, but I've decided to give you one last chance, Audra. One last chance. And that last chance is this. I got to remove the temptation. She says, what do you mean? You are going to fire Kyle Newman. And Audrey looks, she goes, but he's an exemplary employee. He does good work and he's too much of a distraction for you. And you're too much of a distraction for him. So I'm going to remove the distraction. But you're going to fire him. And I expect it to be done immediately. And you make sure that that relationship is over. Because if I find out, even after you fired him, that you and he are still having an affair, you have no more chances with me. And Nikki gets up and walks away. So Audra texts Kyle to meet her in the park, and he goes, well, that took a while. And he's like, but ooh, you're here. She goes, Kyle, you kind of look like, wait, what? She's like, I've got something. She knows. And he goes, she knows what? Mrs. Newman knows we did not stop seeing each other. How? He's like, how could she know that? She says, it's all in your eyes, Kyle. And Kyle really was. Every time he was looking at her like she was a pork chop. Every chance he got, and she'd be like, oh, but he's like, nobody ain't looking. Oh, come on, Kyle. And Nikki even told her, she's just like his father at that age. He's just like his father when his father was his age. Oh, I see it. So she goes, I'm sorry, Kyle. I tried to talk her out of it, but I have to fire you. And he looked, he said, what? He goes, no, I'll go and I'll talk to Nikki. And Audra said, no, you won't. She will not change her mind. It's over, Kyle, and I have to fire you. But Audra, she turns and she walks away. It was hard for her to, though. You could tell she didn't want to. It was hard for her. But she turned and she walked away. And Kyle was just left standing there. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can handle it. Smile. Look, smiling Jack was left standing there dumbfounded. Smiling Jack, having fun, right? So now we have Jack and Diane show up at society. Remember, Billy called Devon. And he's talking to Devon. And Jack is still pissed. And Diane's like, look, just calm down, Jack. Just calm down. And Jack's like, no, I mean, I was adamant about my wishes, and Billy cannot be trusted. And so Jack goes over and he just interrupts. He goes, Devon, can I speak to my brother privately? And so Billy looks at Jack and he goes, Devon and I are in the middle of a conversation, Jack. And Devon says, well, no, we're actually done. I need to be leaving anyway. So Devon gets up and Devon leaves. Okay. So Jack says, I specifically told you not to approach Devon. You cannot, you always have to, defy me always. And Billy's like, that's because, look, you may have said that, but I did not agree. That was you, Jack. I didn't agree to that. And so Jack was like, oh my God, unbelievable. This is unbelievable. So he goes, Billy, he says something, and Jack's kind of talking loud in society, and Billy's talking back, and they talking to each other. So finally, Diane comes over. Guys, fellas, look, this is not the time or the place for that. Don't do, let's not do that here. So she takes Jack and they go sit down, and Billy, he leaves. And Jack is like, I can no longer trust my brother. I just can't trust him. And I thought, come on, Jack, you itching to fire Billy. Just itching to 100% fire him. So she goes, I may have to fire my brother. Now, Diane didn't say, no, Jack, give him. She just put her hand on his hand like, you know what? Do what you got to do, Jack. Do what you got to do. Because, look, I'm with you on doing that. She really is. She's with him because she wants Kyle to be able to come back to Jabot. So we already know that's going to be World War II. This was good. Victoria has to go and challenge Victor because that's Victoria. She's got an attitude. She's this, she's that. And I'm telling you, everybody, the way Victor was talking, I'm kind of inclined to believe something is wrong. I mean, he goes, you don't question me. You don't question my decisions. This place is in disarray because of you. You could not bring unity. I told you I wanted my family here, all of my children, and you, but you couldn't do it, Victoria. You could not accept. She goes, really? He goes, you could not work with either of your brothers. He says, now I'm in control. Now I am going to be able to take control of this whole situation. And I'm going to clean this mess up. And so she's like, you're the one breaking everything apart. You're the one that he goes, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't like my decisions, Victor says, you can go. And she looked at him, and Nikki comes in. What on earth is going on here? And she goes, he is, messing things up. She was saying whatever she's saying about Victor. Victor this, Victor that, Victor this, Victor that. And so Nikki says, well, look, nothing is happening right now. Your father and I are going to go on a vacation. And when we come back, this will give you some time to accept the changes. And, then we'll come back and we'll start fresh. And Victoria's like, okay, that works for me. And I thought, oh, I know it works for you. Because you're getting ready to go in and sabotage everything, right? You're going to go in and just do some dirt and make it look like Victor did it. So after Nikki said that, she goes, good. And Victor goes, well, you know what? That no longer works for me. And Nikki turns and she looks at him. He says, I want the changes to happen. Oh, we'll fly on here. Where'd that fly come from? Changes to happen immediately, effective immediately. And Nikki says, wait, but Victor, that is not what we decided. But that's what I'm deciding now. Oh, he just barked back at her, which was highly unusual for him. It's my decision now. I'm making these changes now. And Nikki is like, whoa, buddy. Watch your tone. That's the way she looked at him like, you better watch your tone. Because you talking to my baby, my baby, my baby. Goodness. He was talking to his baby like she was one of the employees. And so Nikki just looked at him, and he gets up and he walks out. And Victoria says, now I know you have to agree that there's something seriously wrong. He is unfit to run this company. He's unfit to make decisions. And Nikki just looked at Victoria. In her mind, she's thinking, what he just did wasn't good, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to be committed. And she's just looking at Victoria because she knows something's wrong with Victor, but she's listening to her daughter thinking, you up to something. You have to now help me save Dad, And Nikki just looked at her and not said, I'm committing to you, right? So then we have Lily. She and Devon, they spend time talking. She's talking about, no, Tucker's up to something. Lily, get off that bandwagon. Don't start the Abbott bandwagon. What Victor wouldn't tell me who bought it, the stock in, his share. I think it's Tucker. He goes, no. He goes, I don't think it's Tucker. Tucker would not do anything underhand, and it's not even underhanded. Victor was selling. He goes, but Tucker would let me know. He wouldn't want to do anything, because he goes, Victor says this person wants to remain anonymous till everything is settled. That's Tucker's MO. And Devon said, no, Tucker values the relationship that we're building and the relationship with Dominic. Tucker, it's not Tucker. I don't believe it's Tucker. She goes, and I know he's your father and you want to think the best, but I just want you to know. He goes, no, I understand how you feel. I just don't feel that it's Tucker. So she's like, well, okay, and he goes, look, before we get upset at who now owns Victor's percentage, let's just wait. Because you know what, apparently now when I think about it, Victor does not have a huge stake in Chancellor. He really didn't. So Devon is like, let's wait and see what we're up against before we really start to panic. So she goes, okay, I hope you're right. And so that's where that's left at. So we'll see. Nothing else really happened on the show, but Victor to me is honestly showing something's wrong. Almost like, when Adam was messing with his medication, it's almost like we've got some kind of illness going on that's affecting his ability to stay on the same direction, because he keeps going here and he's going there and he's making this rash move. And I don't know, something's not right. And I think Victoria's selfish, but to me, she is onto something. Something's wrong. So we'll see what happens. We'll see, how this progresses. We know with Young and the Restless, it moves slow. So we shall see. Well, let's go to Comment Corner, because we got some good Young. Why and all you guys came out commenting this time. Let's see, Yolanda. Yolanda says, Mamie has millions. Jill gave her millions to get her out of town when she realized John was in love with Mamie. I did not know that, y'all. I didn't know. See, I wasn't watching The Young and the Restless back then. I was All My Children, One Life to Live, General Hospital. And One Life to Live was minor. That's if they had an interesting storyline. Like Vicky was turned into Nikki again. That split personality of hers. But yeah, so I wasn't watching it back during this phase. So you know what? Y'all might be right. It's Mamie. And then Yolanda says Tucker's going to set up Billy and all will believe it since Billy is a hot head. Yolanda also says, I bet the stock went to Mamie or Jill. If it's Mamie, it will kill Jill. Oh yeah. I would love it. It wasn't that big a stake that went to Victor, which is true. I hope Jill stays in the minority. Now, Mamie is related to Devon and Lily. Yes, she is. She is. For a while, I don't know why I thought she was Drusilla and Olivia's mother, but they always called her Aunt Mamie. So maybe she was raising them for her sister. You know what, YNR? Daily Recap folks, tell me the relationship with Mamie, Drusilla, and Olivia. I know Drusilla was embarrassed that Mamie was a maid taking care of them Abbott kids, right? She couldn't stand that. And then Sherry says, Victor's trying to repair all the families in Genoa City. He even told Kyle, go back to Jabot. Mamie Johnson is coming back. Oh, so you all must have read that, maybe Soap Digest. So I think she bought the shares from Victor. And then we have Sheila says, I read Mamie is supposed to be coming back. Mamie was in love with John for years when Jill married him and fired her. I hope Jill never returns for good. And then Sheila also says, somehow I feel Phyllis may be just turning the tables on Tucker, and he for going back on his word with her before. I believe Phyllis wants to redeem herself with her family, especially with her children and Jack. She definitely doesn't want to end up in jail. Well, let's hope so. Oh dear says maybe Tucker. Nah, Tucker didn't buy that. Um, Lashunta says Jill paid her $1 million to leave John. She invested it, probably, right? Lashunta says, Billy, you should have went to Abby for what? Jack and Diane. Oh, about Tucker. Yeah, Abby would have fueled the fan, but Abby cannot get Devon to budge. Devon will listen to her, let her vent, and he'll say, "You know what? You have every right to feel the way you feel. However, okay, I don't have to. I'm still gonna wait until I get more. You're listening to your mother's side, right? Jack and Diane want a reason to give that jerk Billy a job, mean take his job. For her only friend, shaking my head. Tucker's going to use Billy against Jabot. I think he will set Billy up and blackmail Billy. I don't know what he plans on doing. Annette says maybe Ashley gave Billy the money. And then Annette says, Pretty lady, I think maybe Billy has some of Phyllis's money. Nah, I don't think Billy has Phyllis's money. And then Belinda says, Thanks, Daily Recap Lady, for pressing forward with your allergies. No apologies necessary. It's that time of the year. I have some issues with my allergies. We understand. Yes. Oh, my goodness. I know. Um, Billy is so stupid listening to when Jack told him not to bother Devon for not listening. Yeah. His dumb butt going to get fired. Yes, he is. They're definitely planning that move. Um, this is just what Diane is hoping for, so Kyle can come back to Jabot, and then her true colors can come out because with Kyle and her lovesick Jack, Diane will be able to take control of Jabot, just like Ashley tried to tell him. I know Billy's up to something because I feel he wants the CEO position. And let's face it, he's been the one running Jabot because Jack's nose has been up Diane's behind, LOL. Also, Billy was right about how he feels about Diane and the prenup agreement. She talked Jack into signing. She sure did. He didn't want to sign that. But look, he was leaving himself wide open. But she's got some stuff in there in her favor. Let's not forget she was with Jeremy Stark a long time, wheeling and dealing. She is an older version of Audra, LOL. Thanks again for your recap, and I pray uh, you'll get complete relief from your allergies. You can never get complete relief from allergies, unfortunately. Never. Anyway, thank you so much, Belinda, for your well wishes. That's it, everybody. Keep those comments coming. I like seeing the YNR comment corner picking up. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless.